Yes.
Well, a lot of your characters, like Ed and Tamashi, they have, well, mostly Ed.
A lot of your characters, well, pretty much just one.
Have like a wide range of emotions and stuff. How do you get the inspiration to make it sound like you actually have that emotion in your voice?
Well, you guys, oh, look, it's Fi. Hi. Is that Rukia beside you? From Bleach? Beside you? Oh, Rurouni Kenshin. Well, you know what? Most people, and this, actually, I'm glad you asked that, because this will answer another question that I'm sure somebody has, and that is the perennial question of the ages. How did you get into voice acting, and how can I get into voice acting? All the voice actors that I know, all of them are actors. They're not necessarily voice people. They're actors. And this is one of the big differences. A lot of people think that, like, do you remember, I know you guys were really young at the time, but maybe even some old school anime fans in here. Do you remember when anime first came, was being dubbed? It was horrible. Remember when English dubs were really bad? Do you know why they were bad? They were bad because the companies that were dubbing them into English thought, well, who's the obvious choice to dub voices for anything? Radio people. People that speak with their voice and do radio and announcers and DJs and that kind of thing. And so they hired voice, like, announcers and DJs and radio people to dub anime when it first started coming over, and they weren't actors. They had really great voices, but they didn't really fit the character sometimes, and whenever the character was called upon to do anything of deep emotional content, it just wasn't there, and there wasn't a real wide range in the performance. And it wasn't until about 15 years ago that some companies were like, you know what? Why don't we get actors to act? There's a novel idea, right? And so they started getting actors that were doing theater, people that have a huge background in acting, and suddenly the quality of dubs started getting better and better and better. And of course, there's still some bad ones around. I mean, there are bad dubs in Japanese, guys. I mean, bad dubs knows no language boundaries. I mean, you can have a bad performance in any language. But I think the big change happened when companies that were buying anime and licensing it in English and recording it in English started realizing that the best thing to do would be to get actors to actually play these characters. Because it wasn't so much about whether or not they had a deep, resonant, announcer voice, as much as it was that they could play the character well. So my answer to you is it's all about acting. It's about performing. You get in there and you watch the scenes and you do your best as an actor to channel the character and his relationship with the other characters and what he must be feeling at this moment, and you let it out. And you let it out with absolutely no self-consciousness. You can't be self-conscious or shy or a little bit, to yourself if you're going to voice a character. You gotta let loose. I know somebody who auditioned for a very big role. They had never done anything. But they sounded very much like a particular character. And so they got the opportunity to come in and audition, and they were so excited. They were an anime fan for years. Can you imagine? It's like a dream come true. A dream come true to go in and audition for a huge character in a huge show. And they were a fan for years. They got in there, and they're calling me. They're like, what should I do? How should I do this? What do you think I should do? And I'm like, whatever you do, don't hold back. You better let loose. Because any director will tell you, if an actor's giving you a huge performance, you can always bring an actor down. You can always dial them down a little bit. But if they're just doing this, you can't hardly ever get them more than they're willing to give you. You understand what I'm saying? It's always easier to bring to dial an actor's performance back a little bit because they're too big than it is to try to get them to give you what you're looking for if they just are too self-conscious to do it. And that's what happened with this person. They got in there and this director was like, all right, you just got run through with a sword, scream. And they went, ah! And the director went, okay, all right now, that was good. Really let loose. Ah! Couldn't do it. Ah! You know what I mean? You gotta be willing to do it, to let go. It doesn't matter how many people are sitting in front of you. It doesn't matter if the director's like going like this. You know what I mean? You can't afford to be self-conscious or shy. A lot of people write me and they say, I don't think I could ever act on stage because I'm too shy, but I think I'd be a good voice actor. No, you wouldn't. You know why? It's actually more self-conscious. Because you're in a phone booth. I'm serious. Imagine you're in a padded phone booth with a mic like this and a screen with the character with the video on it, and there's a big glass window, and sitting right there 4 feet away is a director and an engineer critically listening to every sound that comes out of your mouth. It's very self-conscious. A lot of times actors actually have it, stage actors have it better, because if this was a stage play, you know what the audience would look like? A black dark void of people. You don't see those people, and you may see a couple people in the front row, but it's just this huge sea of nothingness. Number one, it's not personal. Number two, you have actors on stage with you. They share this with you. You're in this together, right? You're talking with them and you're creating a moment. They're just kind of sitting in. So you've got people on stage to help, what's the word? Dissipate. To help to dissipate that nervousness and that self-consciousness that you may feel. And then the other thing is, this is a big one. How many people here have done stage plays? What's one of the favorite things about doing a stage play? It's when you say something funny and the audience laughs and cheers, right? And you feel that sense of, oh, man, I did that good. They liked it. Or when you're giving this powerful monologue and you're hearing people going, and you're connecting and you're drawing so much energy from the audience because you sense that they are with you, and you get none of that. There is no audience. When you say something funny, nobody laughs. You're in a phone booth. You see what I'm saying? So there are a lot of different elements to voice acting as opposed to stage acting. So for people that say, I really would be too shy to ever do any stage acting work, but I think I'd be a great voice actor, it's just as nerve-wracking to be a voice actor as it would play on your shyness or your fears of that even more so than stage work would. But it's acting is all it is, really. Sorry, that was a really long answer. It just made me think of a lot of things that I thought you guys might be interested in hearing. Question?